Ba-ba-bum-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. In the year 2025, on the evening of March 4th that year, Jessica Trump made an appearance to a joint session of Congress. Let's review it. All right off the bat, we see Lauren Boebert. She's the slut in the red dress. She's trying to make arrangements with Mr. Trump. She said something along the lines, Mrs. Trump, this is kind of like a theater. Can I give you a hand job here? And the lady in the bright purple pink dress, she's offering to hold the magnifying glass so that Lauren can see where to place the hand. It's a very small area there. And the gentleman in the gray, he's trying to get his hands on Trump's junk, but he realizes that Trump's probably going to go for the ladies. So the guy in the gray, he actually does give a hand job to the other guy behind Trump in the darker suit. Wow, this is weird, man. All right, here we go. The two ladies in white, they're in the internal Republican competition. At odds are Boebert and Green with an E at the end. The two ladies in white, they're trying to distract Trump from the Boebert handjob offer and set him up for a blowjob for Marjorie Taylor Greene. And they're saying, hey, look how white her teeth is. Don't you want to come across those? And he's wondering, can I get past her lips? Because, he's very, very, very short. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is in direct competition for the sexual attentions of Trump. Marge's boyfriend is the guy who asked about the suit the other day when Zelensky was in the White House. Well, as is always the case when any sitting president addresses Congress, it's very politically charged. Some propaganda, some exploitation of people with cancer, people who went through a traumatic experience. We saw a lot more of that last night than usual. But in this case, he went particularly hard on a couple things. He's going after Social Security, and he's bragging about his mandate. No, I'm not talking about his date with Putin or Kim Un or Xi or Vance or Musk. He's talking about one-word mandates, as if it was some kind of landslide. I think he's confusing landslide with mandate, and even that he gets wrong.
And proclaim the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action.
Oh, that's partially right. It's been swift, it's been very, very fast, and it's been unrelenting. Yeah, very unrelenting. A little pushback. The pushback is growing, but I'm concerned. What does he consider the golden age? I mean, we've been very prosperous many, many times. We're kind of staggering along since he became president again. We really suffered last time he was president. But now it's the golden age. Is he talking about golden showers? Because we do know he's real big on golden showers. That's a different story. Let's see where he's going with this.
To usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes.
If electoral votes make or break a mandate. Bill Clinton got far more, got 379 electoral votes. What do you say, 321? Theodore Roosevelt got more. Calvin Coolidge got more. Whoa! Warren Harding got 404. George H.W. Bush, 426. FDR, 432. Woodrow Wilson, 435. Couple of 400s in here. Franklin Roosevelt, 449. 489, Ronald Reagan. What do you say is 300? Was it 312? 321? Was like never before. Yeah.
Popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
All right. This column is the margin of the popular vote victory. Trump won by a landslide, I tell you, of 1.48% more than Kamala Harris. Joe Biden got 4.5% more than Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually lost a popular vote last time around. Let me see, Barack Obama got 3.86% more than Mitt Romney and 7.27% more than John McCain. We're competing against 148. George W. Bush got 2.46 more than Mr. Kerry. George W. Bush actually lost a popular vote. He won by electoral college vote, 51%. Bill Clinton, 8.51% and 5.56. So, not 762, 5.56. Those are the victories. But this is somehow a landslide and a mandate. Whoa. Ronald Reagan, 18.21% more than Walter Mandel. Yeah, I don't think 1.48% more than the competition is really something to brag about, Donald.
The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes.
Okay, the only real thing surprising about Donald Jessica Trump's victory this time around was that he had one. As far as a landslide, nope. As far as the best victory in all of America's history, no, not even close. But he's calling it a mandate. Stick a pin in the word mandate, not 2 words, mandate. His mandates are Vance, his mandates are Musk, Putin, Kim. He has a lot of man space dates. But the mandate, put a pin in that. We're going to get back to that. But let's see what kind of kerfluffle is caused by this mandate thing.
Swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
The lights went out. The scream was heard. Ah! Somebody was hit by a flying turd. All right, we'll recap it here in a minute. We'll slow it down just a little bit. He's blah, 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 talking his shit, and somebody barely audible, you can't even make out what they say, shouts something out. Nowhere near as clear as several years ago when Barack Obama was talking to someone and said, "You lie!" Whatever this guy said, we could barely hear. But then what do we hear? We hear other people reacting him much louder and much longer. Let's play it again.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country. And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525.
All right, so a quick recap. One guy with a crutch. His name is Green, Green. He's a gentleman from Texas. One guy got up and called him out on his bullshit. Nowhere near as loud as that "you lie" that Barack Obama put up with, or all that bullshit Marjorie Taylor Greene with the E at the end, Greene, the bitch from Georgia. Gentleman from Texas, Green, no E at the end, versus bitch from Georgia, Greene. Okay, he stands up and he says something that, okay, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but then the entire Republican side of the aisle, they get up and for much longer and much louder chant and cheer and jeer, USA, and they're screaming and hollering at the guy. Much more disruptive than that quick stand up and just reaffirm the truth, which we just went over. The popular vote, not such a big deal. The electoral vote, not such a big deal. The attempts claiming it was a landslide, bullshit. The mandate thing, we still got a pin on the mandate thing. We're going to get back to mandates here. Well, I'll admit I'm not a parliamentarian when it comes to the rules of the House of Representatives or the Senate or the combined sessions of Congress when the blattermouth is blatting. I don't know who's actually in charge. Is it the President of the Senate, a.k.a. the Vice President of the United States, who's behind Mrs. Trump there? Or is it the Speaker of the House, the guy with the gavel? That might be an indicator. I don't know. Is he supposed to be in charge? I don't know. But what do we actually see? The guest speaker, the President of the United States, the lead of the executive branch, the co-equal other branch, he's obviously gesturing here. Get him out of here. He thinks this is a Trump rally, and the one guy that says one thing, he gives the hand and arm signal for get him out of here. Meanwhile, the entire Republican caucus is chanting and cheering and jeering, and he's saying, get him out of here. Now, at this point, the Speaker of the House, I don't know the rules, the guy with the gavel, that might be an indicator, he hasn't done anything. But the five-family mafia boss has given the hand and arm signal, which I'm showing over and over again, so you can see it. This is where the command came from. Who's in charge in this house? Well, we know by the Constitution who's supposed to be in charge. I'm not so sure about the parliamentary rules. The president is a guest here. But who's really in charge? Seek Heil, look at me, I'm the Fuhrer. Get that guy out of here.
On a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing.
Now, I want you to focus on the left side of the screen. There, standing with his crutch, is Mr. Green, no E at the end, and coming across to gently tugging by the arm. Hey, Mr. Green. that's the sergeant of arms. Trump, who thinks he's in charge, gave the hand and arm signal, as we just went over and over again, get him out of here. And the sergeant of arms, who remembers January 6th very clearly, he came over and he says, you're good, man. The Speaker of the House is in charge, and you're good until that knucklehead sucks Donald Trump's nuts and tells me to have you leave. Keep going, my friend. Keep going.
Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing.
God damn it, I got distracted again. What do you say? For the first time in history, more Americans think that we're going in the right direction, that the State of the Union is strong, blah, 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 blah. Let's take a look. This was the hour after the speech last night. 47% think we're very strong and not very strong, not strong at all. 53%. Math is hard, Donald. Math is hard. Let's get back on topic. We're talking about mandates, landslides, and we're going to get to Social Security. But this is just another piece of his bullshit.
Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Now, all through this little kerfluffle, you're going to see several members of the Republican caucus be far more disruptive. For example, Large Marge and her wing bitch, the lady in the blue with the red hat, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene with an E at the end. And I don't know who the bitch is in the white. And several others are yelling and hollering down Mr. Green without an E at the end. While Mr. Johnson is totally out of control. He's leaving it up to Donald Trump's hand and arms signals.
Any further disruptions? That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
So as several members of the Republican side of the aisle are yelling and screaming and standing up and pointing and chatting and cheering, they do focus back on Mr. Green, who's standing there quietly. And Mr. Speaker says, oh, you guys aren't listening to me, you're not behaving. But the Democrat is behaving. It's the Republicans who are yelling and screaming.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Now you saw, while the Republicans are being far more disruptive, far louder, far more standing up and pointing and yelling and screaming and bitching and whining and complaining and cheering, the Speaker of the House finally complies with the Nazi leader's order, get him out of here. Now they're going to be even louder and carry on even longer, being most of the disruption here. But I have to disagree with Mr. Green without the E at the end. He says Mr. Trump does not have a mandate. Trump has a mandate, but not the kind he thinks. Now, what we had heard Trump brag about was some kind of huge landslide in votes, 312 average electoral college win, and 1.48%. Keep this in mind, more than his opponent, than his primary opponent. Not a big deal. That's a squeaker. In fact, it's even less of a landslide, being in the fact that he only got 49.8% of the popular vote. Yes, Harris got less. But that's hardly a landslide. There was a third-party candidate there that got a few votes, which made neither of the primary candidates, neither of the major candidates, to get a full 50%. When Trump says mandate, he's making it sound like he's got like some kind of sweeping popular following to do these people's will, which is really Trump's will, and they're just following along like a bunch of fucking lemmings. But what if I told you every single president of the United States, from George Washington up to and including Donald Trump, I'm talking about FDR, I'm talking about Clinton, I'm talking about both Bushes, I'm talking about Reagan, Obama, Biden, Kennedy, you name him, if he was a United States president, if he was elected, he had a mandate. Follow me here. Imagine, if you will, if there was some sort of resources that typical English-speaking people could go to find the meanings of words. For example, mandate. Does mandate mean a majority? No. Does mandate mean enough of a plurality, to have enough people following you? No. A mandate literally means you have the legal authority. Kennedy had the legal authority. Trump has the legal authority to do what he's supposed to do. He's fucking up, but yes, Trump, to hold office, has a mandate, as did Biden, as did Trump before, and Obama, and Bush before that, and Clinton, and Reagan, and Carter, and Ford, and Nixon, and you name them. If he was president, he had a mandate. Trump actually has more mandates. He has a mandate named Vladimir Putin. He has a mandate named Mr. Vance. He has a mandate, Mr. Elon Musk. He's got a lot of mandates, but no more one-word mandates than any other president in the history of the United States. As far as a landslide, much, much smaller than most.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed.
Let's take another look at that. Make the screen a little bit bigger. as Mr. Green, with no E at the end of his name, from Texas, willingly leaves the House, and the Sergeant Arms, I'm sorry, Matt, Navy thing, the Sergeant Arms doesn't really have to really push anything. They're kind of chuckling about it because everybody hates the fucking president with a brain. Now, there's someone who's been more disruptive, and that's the bitch with the red hat and the blue dress, the slut there. And the Sergeant of Arms is now going to go over there, lean down and say, look, bitch, you disrupt this one more time, I'm going to kick you out without the gavel, without the president, and without the Speaker of the House telling me to. We know what the fuck you did on January 6th, and you're on thin ice. And then they move on.
Uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record, to restore common sense, safety.
Now, Putin's bitch here, he went on and on about bragging on himself, sucking Putin's ass, just talking on that kind of shit. He did the usual grandstanding and exploitation of people with cancer and people with tragedy in their lives. But he went really, really hard on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. He went very hard. He made up all kinds of lies about 300-year-old people receiving Social Security benefits. All been proven lies before this speech. Some of the shit that Doe shit started out with earlier. I don't know how to explain this. His predecessor, Joe Biden, actually got the Republicans to agree not to touch the Social Security and Medicaid. Many of the same Republicans who are in the audience on March 4th, 2025. Let's go look at the Wayback Machine.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the
And that's Lauren Boebert, competitor to Marjorie Taylor Greene for biggest suck-ass Republican bitch. Look, she's wearing the same dress. She has a sport coat over her. But yeah, that's the hand job queen. She likes to be in places like theaters and like this and give people hand jobs. But I digress.
wealthy pay their fair share. Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy.
And that's just one of many examples of Republicans being far more disruptive at these types of gatherings. And they're being louder, they're being longer with their loudness, they're being more disruptive. And one of the loudest is this bitch who was wearing the red hat and the blue skirt last night. Her name is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She cheated on her husband. She sleeps around. She's a slut. She's a whore. She's a tramp. She's loud. She's obnoxious. She chases kids. She's just an all-around bad person. But again, I digress. Besides being louder and more disruptive, this is where Mr. Biden actually makes many of the same members of Congress who are still there as of the 4th of March 2025 promise to not touch Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. And now they're cheering on Trump, who's about to dismantle all that shit. Whoa, that is fucking weird. Here I am recording it, probably quite a while before I actually upload it, and even longer before Generally Specific watches it. But I could have sworn I just heard him say, "Prove it. Show me the receipts. Prove the Republicans promised not to touch Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid." Well, dipshit, that's why I'm doing this. Here we go.
I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if
Oh, go Joe. There is one obvious and stark contrast right there. Earlier in this video, you saw Trump saying with the thumb and the finger, get him out of here. He can't handle people disagreeing with him. Here's Joe, the man with the spine, the most recent president with a spine. He's getting a lot of feedback here. He's not kicking anyone out, and he's actually saying, I enjoy conversion. That means y'all going to be loud and disruptive? Well, okay, I'm going to put both feet in my square, 10 toes in my square, and you dumb bitches, you go ahead and put your money where your mouth is or put your mouths where your money is. Let's follow on.
I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
he's too polite to name by name the people who are being loudest, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene with an E at the end, the most disruptive member of Congress at these events. No, he's politely going to stand his ground and explain to you, and I'll bet he gets applause from the entire combined houses of Congress. The only people who don't stand up and applause are going to be the Supreme Court justices and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because they're both stolid groups and they don't stand in applause for anyone except at the very beginning and the very end.
so folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right.
One each hook, one each line, one each sinker. They took the bait, and 100% of them actually took it. He actually Jedi mind-fucked them into all agreeing that Social Security and Medicare are off the table for being cut. We are going to take care of our senior citizens, and the Democrats are first to stand, but slowly the Republicans also stand and applaud the idea that Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security are off the chopping block. Right? Let's continue.
So, folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right. Remember, we got unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem.
Apparently it's not going to be a problem. It's not a problem while the cameras are on those people and they're aware that they are in the minority. Actually, no. If McCartney's Speaker of the House, this is when Republicans were in the majority in the House. Okay, but recap. He started by accusing some, not all, some Republicans of wanting to chop things like Social Security. And they bitched and they whined, they complained, and they called him a liar. And then he re-explained, okay, I have the paperwork, I can prove it, I have the receipts, but do we really want to put our seniors, our crippled, our handicapped on the chopping block? Or do we want to support them? And they all stood up and applauded for keeping Social Security, keeping it solvent, keeping it viable, taking care of our weakest people, our elderly, our disabled, our handicapped, keep it alive. That's where they were after getting all upset that he accused them of not being aware. So pretty much the Republicans doubled down on that day that they want to keep Social Security. They want to keep Medicare, keep Medicaid. They want to help the most vulnerable people in the United States of America and the people who have earned it the most. Fast forward to March 4th, 2025, a lot of these same Republicans are cheering on Trump as he's bragging about Doge and Musk, and they're going after Social Security, ignoring the G.I. Joe's job to make sure I mean, come on. Trump was lying out his ass. The Republicans are lying out their ass, both back then, but, you know, that's how it is with people like Generally Specific and far right-wing Republicans, maggots, as we call them. That's how it is.
Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that.
And, well, Joe turned the reins over to Kamala, who would have done just as well, maybe even better. But sadly, a lot of you folks didn't vote at all, about 8 million of you, and Joe was wrong. He said not ever. Now, Social Security is on the chopping block. There's a funny-looking man going to places like CPAC, and he's got this big red made-in-China blinged-out chainsaw to demonstrate how he wants to cut everything. And Trump has got a hard-on for it, and, well, he's a little hard-on. He's not a big man. He's got a hard-on for these ladies who are competing for his attention because they're just dumb sluts and all that. Ah, well, 235 years. It was a good run, America. It was a good run. I think it's over.
That main engine's at 108%.
AVIS power nominal.
And launch team, be advised, stay at your consoles. Everyone in the LCC, maintain your positions in your consoles. In the LCC, maintain positions at your console.
Well, that totally sucked. Please be advised, there are absolutely no refunds.
You're Tiger's caddy now that nobody gives a shit! It's fucking embarrassing!